Welcome to the Honest Dog Breeder Podcast with me, your host, Julie Swan, where each week we dive in to discuss all things dog breeding so you can build a breeding business you love, producing dogs that fulfill their owners' dreams. I believe you can have an honest dog breeding program that also pays the bills. So throw those pods in your ears while you're cleaning kennels. I'd love to join you. Welcome back to 12 Days of Breeders. Today we have Bill Wyatt of DubDub Danes in Bentonville, Arkansas. Bill, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Great. Thank you for having me, Julie.
This is going to be a good one. You have such a fun story. All right, so tell us, a love for Great Danes doesn't just, spontaneously happen. Like, you got to meet one. So where did you first fall in love with Great Danes?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. You do have to meet one. At some point in your life, if you have not met a Great Dane and been face to face with one, that should be on your bucket list. But my Great Dane adventure started in Los Angeles, California in the late 60s, I would have to say it was. I was a very young child. This is one of my first memories in life. I walked out into the backyard of our home and I saw the biggest hole I could even imagine as a little guy. And I looked at the pool and I looked back at the pool behind the fence on the other side of the yard, and I thought, why is Dad building another swimming pool? And as I stood there and looked at that hole in the middle of the yard, it was big. It was really big, especially to a 2-year-old guy, or however old I was at that point. And I walked over toward the hole, and as I got close to it, all of a sudden, Susie, our fawn Great Dane with a bad cropped floppy ear thing going on, comes up out of the hole and puts her little paws up on the side of the hole and looked out at me. She had dug a hole so deep that she had crawled down in it and was taking a nap. I guess she was trying to get down to the cooler level of geo cooling or something. And she was taking a nap. When I came in, she popped up out of it. And that was just the most amazing thing I could ever imagine, that this dog had done the work of a backhoe in our backyard. So that was Susie.
And that was Susie. And so your parents just brought Susie in and you just kind of, how was she?
Well, Susie was a rescue dog. My mom came up with Susie somewhere. I don't know the whole story.
Sure.
But she brought Susie home, and Susie was constantly in trouble. She was in the trash. I remember one time when she ate an entire weekend soiree of chicken bones and had to go to the vet and have her stomach emptied. And she was constantly escaping, and Dad was chasing her. She was an escape artist. And that's kind of strange because Danes aren't usually escape artists. They chill, they just hang out. Well, Susie, she had to go. She just had to go. I remember watching her crawl up between the detached garage and the side of the house, pushing on both edges to get up over the fence and crawl out of the privacy fence. It was the strangest thing, but that was Susie.
Yeah, sound very driven. So you first met her, I'm sure after having a dog that big and that much personality, it would be hard to just get a regular dog. Yeah.
Dad never got regular dogs after that. So I was 5 years old, was in kindergarten and went to, one of those 5-year-old birthday parties, or maybe it was a 6-year-old birthday party. And I was informed after me and a friend had won the 3-legged race that I had won a Great Dane in the 3-legged race. And, of course, I think the deal was negotiated during the 3-legged race. But so I got a new Great Dane. And Santana was a big, beautiful black and white Harlequin or spotted Dane. And he was my best friend. I grew up with Santana. He lived a long time. He lived 15 years, so which is really, really great for a Dane. So I got him, when I was kindergarten, first grade, and he went with me through life. And I remember burying him. I'm gonna cry. My freshman year of college during the winter. I had to come home and dig a hole in the frozen ground and put Santana in it.
Oh,
So,
he was
anyways,
just, yeah, he was with you through
he
all the years
was.
that there. High school is always so hard. You couldn't pay
Yeah,
me
yeah.
enough to go back.
All through it, all through, elementary, junior
Yeah.
high, high school. Santana was my friend. He always listened. He was always there.
Yeah.
He'd lay his head over on my shoulder. Danes want to be in your space. Okay, so
Hmm.
your personal space is their personal space as well. If you let them do that. I mean, you can train them
Hmm.
not to, of course, but they're just big, wonderful lovers.
Hmm. Oh yeah, I feel like you've just nailed that with your lines now, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Santana, like he set the standard. He's probably like on the wall as this ideal dog, right? Like
Yeah, that's
he's the
Santana.
man.
You
Yep,
know.
so good. So good. So then did you keep getting Great Danes? Or I mean, you were in college?
No, I went to college, so I didn't
Hmm.
didn't have a dog then.
Sure.
Went to college, got married, had a couple little kids. We were on the go. We were moving. We were
Yeah.
making life happen and stuff. And so finally, we decided, maybe we should get a dog
Yeah.
or two. And I don't know how we ended up getting both of these dogs at the same time, but we got a little toy poodle and a peekapoo. So it was a Pekingese poodle mix. You talk about
Ah,
an ugly little. I'm sorry if anybody breeds peekapoos. I'm not meaning to offend you, but the peekapoo was just and it was retarded. We
just
found
not a
out
very
later
strong.
that, yeah, it was retarded. Literally, it
Oh.
was a retarded dog, so it was never really right.
Oh,
Uh,
it was actually pretty messed up in the head.
yeah, we named
Yeah.
them Jack and Jill. Jack was a little white poodle, and Jill was the little black peekapoo. And I don't, to me, they just weren't really dogs.
I can see that. They were like 1/100th the size of what you were used to.
Yeah, yeah. My puppies are bigger than these dogs are at 8 weeks old.
Yeah. And I
So,
think like toy poodles, they definitely have a reputation and is very different from a Great Dane. So that makes sense as well.
yeah.
Yeah. So you're just kind of missing that charisma. Did you have a hard time bonding with them? Or is it just like they just didn't do it for you?
Yeah, they didn't do it for me.
I
No,
get it.
I can't say I really bonded with those dogs. I think
Yeah.
the kids played with them, and they yapped and made a bunch of noise. And I don't know if I should tell this story here or not, but Jack, uh, we had children in diapers at the time, and it
Yeah.
was Jack's goal in life to get in the diaper pail or the trash
Ugh,
can, and he was a little white
hate
dog.
that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, those are the worst.
Yeah, white dog eating diapers. It was never a good thing.
No. No, my Dalmatian did that. She actually ate my little brother's diaper and then jumped on my grandfather when he came to the door and he was in white pants and it was
Oh my goodness.
so bad. Yeah.
Just a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bad. I know.
Yeah.
My mom
So,
never let that one down.
needless to say, the little dogs didn't really get it for me.
Totally understand, right? So we
So
cemented
we went
that.
through that
No small dogs.
experience and didn't have dogs for a while.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you kind of took a
Yeah,
break, huh?
yeah, took a break and,
Yeah.
once again doing life. And then I came to the point where I rescued a dog when I lived in
Mhm.
New York City, and he was a Rhodesian Ridgeback.
Okay.
So
And
once
yeah.
again, big dog. Not
Yeah,
quite as big as a Great Dane, but
sure.
yeah,
But a little bit more, for those who don't know, like they were bred to be like lion hunting dogs, right? Like
yes, yeah, they
they're
were.
big. They're not small, but they're a lot smaller than a Great Dane. What do they come up
Yeah,
to? 80, 90 pounds, maybe 70?
yeah, yeah. About 80 pounds. 80
Yeah.
pounds is on the large side
Okay, yeah.
for
So they
them.
got a little bit more big dog to them. So then,
Yeah.
what did you? So then, that was
Well,
probably a relief. Yeah.
yeah, so I had Waldo, and me and Waldo were great friends for many years, and
Yeah.
I trained him to walk with me on the streets of New York City when I lived there. It was a great experience. I did the parks, and
Yeah. How
uh,
did you like? Because that's not like an easy thing to do in New York City. Like, how did you get a
oh,
dog that well trained?
oh, well, I trained the dog myself, so I became a dog trainer.
Yeah, it's just like in your spare time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I got the dog, and I thought, okay, we live in a small
Yeah.
apartment on the third floor in the middle of the city, a block away from the park. Okay.
Wow.
So I mean, your dogs have to behave or they are chaotic.
Sure.
And I started researching a little bit and trying to understand how to train dogs, and got the basics down. And then I came across a book uh, that's called How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend.
Okay.
And the monks of New Skeet. New Skeet is a monastery up in upstate New York,
Okay.
and they raise very special pedigreed German Shepherd dogs. And they had
Mm.
just a whole philosophy of training
So they took like
that
their monk like meditation wisdom style and sort of created their own dog training branch from it.
they did.
Wow.
They
That's so
did.
crazy.
So
Were they
yeah,
raising them for anything in particular?
they were raising them because agriculture no longer supported their monastery. So they
Yeah.
actually took it on as a means of financial support for the monastery. So
Wow.
all of the monks train a dog. Okay. And they talked about how they would bring all the dogs into the dinner hall, and all the
Hmm.
monks are sitting around, and all the dogs had to lay down on the ground quietly and watch the monks eat. So
Wow.
yeah, just neat stuff. Neat
Yeah,
stuff.
neat. So it kind of had a very good. Did you notice anything that's different with that training that like you still use today that it's pretty different from mainstream?
Um,
If you recall, I know it's been a minute since you read the book.
yeah, yeah. I'd say I still use all the techniques.
Yeah.
It's not as touchy-feely as some of the mainstream training today is. I
Okay.
mean,
Sure.
the dogs get a little pop under the chin once in a while if they need
Understandable. Yeah.
to be brought in. But that's very similar to like Caesar Milan's poke.
Hmm. Yeah, it's just a more of an
He says
attention
you
getter and
poke them. It's not a pet. It's not, it's not a slap, but it's a
yeah.
poke to get their attention. And the monks had the thing. That's what you did. You just up under the chin.
Hmm.
Doesn't hurt them. You're not being
Yeah.
rough, but it gets their attention and focuses back on you.
It makes sense. I do think
Yeah.
dogs kind of get like monomania focused on something and you got to break that focus to get them back
Yeah,
centered. Yeah. At least
like
with my bird
like
dogs.
three Great Danes on the FedEx guy. But yeah,
That too, yeah, exactly. So that's cool. So for you, this just kind of became your way of working with dogs. And so this has
it
been very
did.
natural for you.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
Hmm.
I loved it. And of course, life went on, life moved. I moved back to Bentonville, Arkansas.
Is this where you were born?
I was born in Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we moved to Bentonville, Arkansas when I was 8 years old.
Oh, wow.
So big culture shock.
That's a slight difference.
Bentonville's grown a lot since then, but it was like, hee haw town of 1800, let's salute.
Okay.
If anyone remembers,
Yeah.
I'm dating myself, aren't I?
No, it's
Okay.
good. It's good. I'm actually just like, for those who are listening on the podcast and not watching YouTube, Bill's background has these just beautiful trees. And I'm very tree envy over here, but yeah.
Yeah, behind.
Yes.
Yeah, you notice I came up out of the basement kennel today for
Well,
the
still good.
podcast. So
Yes.
isn't that great?
It is beautiful.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
All
so
right.
so
So,
yeah, came back to Bentonville, Arkansas, and it wasn't long before I rescued a Great Dane.
mhm.
So rescued the Great Dane and trained it and had just a wonderful experience. When I moved back, I still had Waldo,
Which was the Ridgeback?
the Ridgeback.
Yeah. Okay.
And he was so perfectly trained. I mean, he walked off leash. I could go into the coffee shop and leave him at the door, and he would sit there and wait for me. Just an
Incredible.
amazing, amazing companion and friend.
Yeah.
But people noticed how well trained this dog of mine was. And then I get a Great Dane and trained it. And then pretty soon people are coming to me for their Great Dane problems.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. See,
Yeah,
and like,
and
what would be some common Great Dane problems? I can imagine.
uh, getting excited and running over all the toddlers.
Yes, that makes sense.
Not learning their space and that you can't jump on people. Yeah,
Right. Exactly.
they're uh, teaching them not to chew
Mm-hmm.
because when they chew, couches disappear.
Yes, and probably quite quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now that I'm a breeder, I have a lot of dogs, and I like to have them, in my space with me.
Mm-hmm.
But we do go through couches because during the learning process, stuff happens.
Yeah.
So I cycle the couches out of the living room and they go into the kennel where the dogs have their own couches.
Yes.
Until then they go outside because there's no couch left and they end up in the burn pile. So
Yeah, yep. I did have a dog dig a hole in my sectional and have her litter in it. So
oh,
that
well,
was a
that's
good day to
interesting.
come when I came home from work that day.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that makes sense. So, yes, so training. So mostly manners. That's the biggest thing people struggle with.
Manners.
I think
Yeah.
that's almost true with every breed, you know?
So I think a good place for people to look to think about, what does your dog need to know? That's that canine good citizen certification for
Yeah.
dogs.
Hmm.
Sit, stay, walk out of a room and not go crazy.
Yeah. Be around another dog and be okay.
Yeah,
And yeah, all those little things.
allow somebody to come into the room and leave the room without being jumped on, and
Yeah.
those are the things that you try and teach. So
Yeah, that
yeah.
makes sense. Perfect. Well, that's great. That's great. So, all right. So you've taken this and then did you then what? Did you do much? So which dog was this that you had?
Okay, so Luna
Hmm.
was a almost 1 year old female Great Dane
Okay.
and very tall. She was
Big
a
legs.
big girl. I mean, like she probably ended up being full grown and being one of the larger Great Dane females around.
Wow.
Uh, Solid black, very beautiful
Mm.
dog.
Hmm.
But the family just were at their wits' end. They had young children. They couldn't control Luna. She played so hard that the kids
Yeah.
got hurt, and mom and dad had had enough. So this friend of mine who knew about me, said it was a family member of theirs, said, "Hey,
Mm.
Bill can do that." See if Bill wants the dog. So I rescued Luna and I kept
Yeah.
her for several months. And
Nice.
then we actually ended up giving Luna back to the family I got her from.
Hmm.
And she just lived a great old life with
Yeah.
them and was
Y-
the perfect family dog at that point.
Yeah. You kind of did like a board and train, maybe in an unconventional way. So
Yeah,
that worked out really good. And
that did work out good.
did Waldo help you with that, or was
No,
this
Waldo
Caswell?
was gone
Well, it was gone at
just
this
before
point.
Luna
Okay.
came.
I
So
got you. I
yeah,
got you.
yeah. So
Yeah.
so so Luna was a little bit of a rebound dog.
I understand. Yeah. I can understand that. So that was
Yeah,
good. Okay. So
yeah,
you had this, you got the dog, and then you thought, oh, well, she probably fits best with her home, her family again.
yeah.
That worked out good. So then is that
Then
when
I
you
was
got
without a
married?
dog again.
Yeah. So that's kind of not good.
And
Yeah.
and now the children are all gone.
Hmm.
So it's just me and the wife. And she dragged me down to the animal shelter one day, and we came home with a Maltese,
Oh,
a 4 pound Maltese. And needless to say, yeah, it's a four. We still have Chloe.
yeah.
Chloe, she's about 15 years old now.
Oh,
But once again, it's not really a dog. I mean,
not
I
for you
can't
at least.
I can't go to Lowe's with a Maltese on a leash.
No.
I mean, that just doesn't work. I did have a little sling bag I threw her in and carried her around in, but
That's
that
cute.
was
Yes.
that was just different. So
Yeah, very
then,
different.
once again, somebody was having a problem Great Dane.
Here we go.
And once
You're starting to get a
again,
business going
somebody
on the
says,
side.
"Hey, Bill, you need to talk to Bill about that." And my wife and I, we some people we had known from our past and had gone to
Yeah.
school with here. But we went over and I met the dog and it was good. His name was Moose. He was a solid blue Dane, very good looking
Beautiful.
dog,
Hmm.
and had bitten one of the family members on the hand, is what they told us, and they
Yeah.
thought he was a little aggressive and they were going to put him down.
Wow. Yeah.
But so we brought Moose home and I had Moose for a couple years, just
Hmm.
once again a wonderful Great Dane companion
Yeah.
dog.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so here we have Moose, and Moose is my partner. He's my friend. He goes everywhere with me. We go to Lowe's, we go to Home Depot, we go to Tractor Supply.
Yeah, just
Wherever I
like
go, he's willing
he's
to
your
go.
boy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Really good dog, very obedient.
Yeah.
Just great with family and people and everyone.
Yeah.
So,
Anything
it's
unusual when you were training him after he had that bite incident?
what's that?
With that bite incident, would you have anything unusual with training him, or you think it was just one of those
You
random issues
know,
that happen?
I felt like it was something that just kind of happened. They
Yeah.
weren't sure if the child was maybe they were both going for a candy bar at the same time.
Okay.
So I was wondering, was it a food thing?
Sure.
Was he maybe being agitated or irritated by the child
Yeah.
tease
That
for
makes
the
sense.
candy, or
And
so wasn't sure really what happened, and
mhm,
they didn't talk like it was a huge incident
yeah, probably just
or
scare
anything.
them because if it was a kid and the dog is so
Mhm.
big. I think that's probably I noticed that people who have little dogs, like, we all know the yappy chihuahua that bites ankles. Like that gets very frustrating because people don't train little dogs as much, but a big dog requires training. It has to
Yeah.
happen, and I think it just becomes scarier. Um, Getting bit by a chihuahua is not the same thing as getting bit by a Great Dane. I can understand people getting weird about it. Yeah,
It's not at
yeah.
all,
But
not at
otherwise, he
all.
was just normal. Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So after having him for a couple of years, we built a new house.
Hmm.
We were kind of settling in, and my wife decided to get me another Great Dane for Christmas. I mean,
Very cool.
every guy, if you have one Great Dane,
Why not have two?
you need two, and if you have two, why not have 10?
Right.
People think I'm a little nutty now when they ask how many Great Danes I have, but I love it. So we took a trip to the breeder
Uh-huh.
and ended up uh, ended up bringing home another little female Great Dane.
Hmm.
Um, while we were at the breeder, of course, there was possible conversation about maybe wanting to breed some Great Danes.
Sure.
And so I walked away paying the extra for the full registration.
Hmm.
It's always nice to have the extra for the full registration.
Yeah, just to give yourself the option. I understand. Yeah.
And so we brought Honey home.
Hmm.
Honey's a little one of the dogs we have now, a little fawn.
Hmm.
She was just a little fawn Great Dane puppy at the time.
You're a little, right? Hmm.
Yeah. Well, little as in, well, she probably 30 or 40 pounds.
That makes sense when you brought her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once again, we have to get into the training aspect
Sure.
of that. You got a puppy, bring him home, put him in a cage, a kennel next to the bed,
Hmm.
and
Yep,
wake up in the morning. That puppy needs to go outside.
for sure.
Puppy is squealing and scratching at the kennel, ready to go. So it's
Hmm.
great. I I get up out of bed and I grab Honey, and I noticed Moose did not get up. Moose would usually be up and out at the very first time with me. Well, when I
Hmm.
got to the door, I realized what was up. It was raining outside. Moose hated rain. In fact, most of the Great Danes I've had do not like rain and will not
Yeah.
jump in the water. Okay,
Yeah, right.
there's a real issue of trying to get them to go there. So here I have Honey, her first trip out in the morning with me, and I take her out off the porch, down the steps into the driveway, and put her down on the ground. And it's raining outside, raining kind of hard. And
Yeah.
she freaked out like the rain was hurting her. Ran back up the steps, across the porch, in the living room, all the way across the living room, on top of the dog bed, and just peed all over it. It was a mess.
Yeah.
So I went over and I grabbed her and looked at her in the face and I said, no, 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 no.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was picking her up to take her back outside,
Right.
and she squealed like it was murder going on.
Yeah.
Well,
Do that sometimes.
about that point in time, Moose came running out of the back bedroom and thinking he was protecting her,
Mm.
actually jumped on me.
Wow.
and took a couple good chunks out of my body.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, he just totally crossed that line.
Yeah. So it was a total, uh, it was just a total instinctive dog
Very,
thing because Moose
yeah.
felt like that was his. That
Mm.
puppy was his. And even though I was his owner and,
And you'd had
you
this
know,
relationship with him for years.
yeah, for years we had been together and he'd never done anything like that
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form. And so boom, this thing happened. And
Yeah.
it's like, wow, that's a challenge and that's tough. And I think
Yeah.
out of that incident, then I started to realize the good Danes I'd had and the good dogs I've had versus the ones that
Mhm.
kind of had issues.
Yeah. And you were noticing, were you noticing like a major sort of temperament genetic component that was playing into this?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think there's a huge temperament component.
Hmm.
And with Danes, if you get it right,
Hmm.
you just have the most lovable big cuddle bug that anybody could ever imagine.
Right,
You
exactly.
get it wrong, and you've got a dog that might eat you.
Yeah, but very dangerous because you're not little. Like you are not a small dude.
No, no,
No.
I'm 6'3", 230 pounds,
Yeah.
and
So
and the
for
dog jumped me.
yeah,
Had it been my 100-pound wife or
right.
my 85-year-old father or one of the grandchildren,
Yeah. It's
it could
so
have really,
dangerous.
it could have been
Mhm.
a disaster.
Absolutely.
It happened to me. I'm glad it happened to me. I'm glad it
Yeah.
didn't happen to someone else,
Hmm.
because you might have justified things away,
Right.
uh, and made
Exactly.
excuses for the dog, but there was really no excuse for that. That was something deep down, in his genetics and that response he had.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but anyway, so
Yeah.
we ended up having to get rid of Moose,
Yeah.
and that was hard once
Oh, I
again.
understand. I
Uh,
understand.
and
But
then
you can't risk it.
no, you just can't risk that. You can't
Mm-mm.
pass that on to someone else.
Mm-mm. No,
And
you can't pass that on as a problem to someone else. I mean, yeah, and just
right.
no,
And
absolutely not.
or to keep that with children and grandchildren and that. So
Yeah.
so that was a hard decision. And
Yeah.
we went through that and then we were back to honey.
And then you had honey.
Well,
Yeah.
Bill started thinking about it and thought, why not? Why not
Hmm.
maybe get serious about this and
This
breed
breeding thing.
breed
Yeah,
breed this
exactly.
breed these dogs. And so I started researching and thinking about it and looking at it and realized that if I'm going to breed her, we have to have a male dog.
Right.
And the breeder that I'd gotten her from,
Hmm.
basically said, yeah, I'll stud out any of my studs to you, and we're going to
Hmm.
take the first and third pick of litter for studying it out. And then there were
Okay.
others, you can get $1,000 stud or a $1,500 stud or a $2,500 stud, pay a stud fee.
Hmm.
I thought, I might as well just get another dog
Right.
and
So
have
much
my own
easier.
stud.
Yeah.
So we did that, and I researched it and got Dobby from South Georgia,
Oh,
and
he's
we
so
got
beautiful.
Cookie.
Hmm.
Cookie is another dog from the initial breeder that I got honey from.
Oh, nice.
So I had my little trio, two
Hmm.
girls and a boy, and that's kind of where that started a few years ago.
Yeah, that's good. And so you've had a couple litters with them, right? And I mean, they've all been so cool. You've done so good. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the color genetics? Because I know for you, temperament was always paramount because you know what the
Sure.
cost is. But you did really nail some of this color stuff too.
So one of the amazing things about the breed of Great
Hmm.
Danes is there are so many possibilities
Hmm.
when it comes to beautiful colors and patterns
Yeah.
and even the mixture of those things.
Hmm.
So uh, most people recognize the Scooby-Doo Great Dane,
Hmm.
okay, and that's the
Right.
fawn pattern, okay,
Hmm.
or they recognize the big spotted black and white Great Dane,
Right.
okay, so that's the Harlequin.
Hmm.
And it takes it takes actually quite a bit to produce a Harlequin.
Yeah, can you explain to us what is the Harlequin?
Okay, so the Harlequin is basically the pattern that gives you the spotted dog with the white background.
Okay.
So the dog's primary color, which could be black or chocolate, it could be blue or it can be lilac. Those are kind of the options there. Will then create torn patches. So Dalmatians, nice little round dots or spots, should we say. Great Danes are patchy. Some of them are great big. They'll cover half their head or all over their body. So we call them torn patches.
Okay.
It's kind of like the color is tearing through the outside.
Oh, yeah.
And you've probably seen the Danes with white spots, and we call those Harlequins. But then you see the Danes with spots and a darker background color. And that's Merle. Of course, there's a lot of dogs in the dog world that have the Merle gene, or the Merle gene will show up in different times. So you have to have the Merle gene in order to produce Harlequin that basically whites out the darker background.
That makes sense.
You
so you only
have
see
to have
the
both of
top
those
layer
genes
of the
together.
Merle, and then the bottom layer is of white.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that makes sense.
So it takes that gray Merle background layer and just turns it to white, and that's how you get the Harlequin.
Oh, it's so cool. Yeah. And so you need, so the dog would need to be Merle, and it would need to have a copy of the Harlequin gene. Is that how that works?
Yes, for it to show Harlequin.
Because it is dominant, right?
Yes, it would be dominant when it shows up. The Harlequin is, but it won't show up unless the dog has the Merle to start with.
So it just modifies Merle, really. So you got to have a Merle dog with this. That makes sense.
With that, right. So you could have a Merle dog of your pair, and then have a solid dog in your pair. And the solid dog may carry Harlequin.
Yes.
And then you can produce Harlequins.
That's
that's the hard way to do it.
Yeah.
The easy way is to have a Harlequin dog.
Yes, because then they've got the Merle with the Harlequin. Yeah, that makes sense.
And they'll produce both Harlequins and Merles in any given litter, because you've got to put it all together to get Harlequins.
Yeah, that makes sense. And of course, we're never breeding two Merles together, so that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Yeah. And then you have Great Danes have all these fancy names. I remember when we first started working together, I was like, I should know more about this. I have no idea what these names are.
Oh, you're talking about the colors and the patterns?
Yeah, the color. Just share it because it's just fun. Poodles have their own little fancy stuff too, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you have Harlequin and you have Merle.
Yep.
You also have Brindle.
Right. So Brindle, and can you have the Brindle with the Merle? I always forget that on yours.
Merle and the Merle will block out the Brindle. But yes, you can. Okay, so instead of having a solid background patch, you can have brindle patches. So we call those brindlequins.
Yes, they're very cool looking.
You can have the fawn pattern can also show up in a Harlequin. You call those faunaquins. Okay. And then Great Danes, they have the potential to have tan points as well, like Dobermans or Rottweilers, very common there. That was a Great Dane color trait that had also almost been bred out of existence.
Wow.
Because some guys in the 1920s decided that wasn't going to be an official color. So, breed those things away. They can't be in the show ring. So there are some color patterns that, there are a lot of patterns and colors that the Great Danes can produce that aren't allowed in the show ring, but are still, in my opinion, very beautiful colors and shouldn't be bred out of existence.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then you have Irish spotting. What is that one?
So Irish spotting, but we call it mantle. Okay. So it's kind of like the white around their neck. Okay. And then they'll have white on their nose up through and so it's kind of that tuxedo look that some dogs have.
Okay. Yes. And you're calling that mantle.
In the Great Dane, we call that mantle.
Oh, yes. I know. See, they have their fancy
Everybody's got their own name for it. But there's actually two. You can get the piebald gene in Great Danes too. So you can have the,
Does that have a special name, or is it just piebald?
It's pie. Just call it pie.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that creates more white spotting and a different pattern, a different look.
Yeah.
So you can have the patch over the eye and the rest of the head be white.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah, we have that with our German short hairs. It's always weird. People, can I get a solid head? Oh yeah, let me just print one out for you, no problem.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so that's so cool. So, all right, cool. So you have beautiful colors and beautiful dogs, and you got the temperament that you've been wanting. How was it? How, getting into this, was it I mean, you just are so good. You enjoy it. I can see so much you enjoy it. How was that first litter? And
Okay, yeah, that was pretty cool. Now, I will have to say, when I was a kid growing up, mom bred some dogs. So I'd been around some. She had Lhasa Apsos or Lhasa Apsos.
They're hard to say.
Lhasa Apsos. Yeah, whatever. She had some of those little yappers, those little fur balls that look like, dust mops running around. And of course we had a small farm when we moved here from California. We got pigs and chickens and cows and the whole work. So I was around breeding and producing animals. But now, hey, it's my turn. We've put these dogs together. I've done the genetic testing on them. I've paired the colors and the patterns to produce some beautiful dogs. And both the dogs go into heat at the same time.
Great.
Great. But I wasn't so sure Dobby was going to be able to handle two his first time around. Okay. So I took one dog back to the breeder that I got her from, so she could breed with one of his studs. And then I put Dobby and Cookie together here at home. And the dog who went to the breeder didn't have such a good experience there. So she did not produce that first round, and it was Cookie and Dobby. It was my dogs that we'd raised from little pups. And it was really special. The last little time as Cookie was getting ready to have the babies, and she really started bonding with me. But she also was trying to nest. That last couple days, she started panting, and I didn't realize. Okay, here's early labor. I wasn't really prepared for all of the little details. So she was panting. It's like, okay, you're probably ready. You need to stay in your birthing area. Okay, I had a place in the basement set up for that. Somehow, while I was gone at work during the day, Cookie got outside. Oh no. Dobby can open doors. So we have lever doors. All the handles, the front door, all the interior doors. But Dobby just pushes it with his nose and either pulls it back or pushes through. He opens doors. I got home and Cookie was not in her birthing area. I was like, where is Cookie? And my wife didn't know where Cookie was. Cookie was gone. Dobby had opened the door and Cookie went out to find a nest. So we live on 6 acres and there's a lot of acreage and woods around us. I started running through the woods and the fields and calling and trying to find Cookie and this and that. Well, there was a big pile of stumps and logs that we had cleared off our home site and stacked up in a ravine. And she had gotten in under the logs and was in the woods hiding under a stump to have her babies. Couldn't get her to come up out of there. She was in there. But you know what I did? I ran and got the leash and said, "Hey, Cookie, you want to go for a ride?" and she came. Yeah, she came right up out of the hole she was in, and got her in, and it was really good experience. That night, I knew she was going to be having the puppy soon.
She didn't have any under the stump.
No, she didn't.
Oh, okay, good.
She didn't. I got her inside back in the birthing area before then, and had a little mattress on the floor, and was laying on the mattress with her, and I fell asleep. I woke up to hear a puppy squealing and crying, And that was the second one. She had already had two puppies before I even knew what was up. Yes, so it was a little after midnight, 12:30, 1 o'clock at
Mm-hmm.
night. And we produced 11 puppies together that night.
Wow. Wow.
And it was really, really good.
It was
Yeah.
really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you do some stuff because socialization is so important. Can you share with us some of the things that you do with your puppies? Because you just had such a good, your buyers really give you good feedback on them. So
Yeah,
what are some of
that's
the things
great.
you've
So,
done? Hmm.
the early things you do with puppies are just so very important.
Hmm.
One of the things I do is the early neurological stimulation.
Hmm.
So the first couple weeks that the puppy is born, I try and take them each day and pick them up and rub their little paw pads and turn them
Hmm.
upside down and move them around and expose them to a cold, wet wash rag, set them on
Hmm.
that. So those are the early things you can do before they even start opening up their eyes. And it teaches them and trains them to be able to adapt to
Yeah.
situations.
Hmm.
That's one thing. But as soon as they open up their eyes, boy, it's
Hmm.
on. Uh,
What do
it's
you
it's
do?
it's time to start bringing them up.
Yeah.
Bring them up in the living room.
Hmm.
Expose them to everything and everyone.
Hmm.
We have a huge front porch. The porch is 8 foot deep by 40 foot long. It's the front of a farm style, and it's all
Yeah.
closed in, and we got gates on it. And we bring all the dogs out together on the porch
Hmm.
on a regular basis.
They're just running around.
They're just running around having a good time. The big dogs, the
Yeah.
little dogs,
Hmm.
the wife, the kids, the grandkids,
Hmm.
we invite friends over, come play with the puppies. I mean,
Yep.
there are lots of people will come over and play with puppies. They
Hmm.
love it. So you can expose them to a lot of people.
Hmm.
Um, you have to be careful, but I take them out too.
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Like the town or.
Yeah, yeah. So
Mhm.
downtown Bentonville is it's a nice old town style that has been completely refurbished and
Mhm.
restored. So we've got an old square and it's beautiful and nice green turf because it's
Mhm.
green year round and
Yeah.
the Christmas lights and
Uh-huh.
just a place, a gathering place where hundreds of people will be in the evenings and the weekends and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'll take a whole wagon full of pups out.
Mhm.
We take all 10 of them, throw them in a big wagon and roll them around on the square and let them talk to people.
Mhm.
Uh, I've got a video, I think it's up on one of my Facebook pages,
Mhm.
where I took all the puppies down and they were right at about 8 weeks old,
Mhm.
almost. And took all the puppies down to the square, and there was a family there taking wedding pictures or engagement pictures or something. Well, they commandoed all the puppies and made them a part of their photo shoot. And I put that up as a Facebook ad and sold about
Sure.
4 of
There you go.
them. So
Yeah.
just trying to expose them to everything.
Yeah. To get as much
Uh,
as you and you yeah, because you yeah, so the more exposure in the front yard, I just find like when the dogs are outside, they do really enjoy
they
spending
do,
that time
they
outside when
do.
it's good and
So I live on a gravel road,
Mhm.
and it dead ends about a quarter of a mile down from my house. So it's one of the last little stretches of dirt road in the
Yeah.
county here.
Mhm.
And there's 3 or 4 houses down the road from us. So
Yeah.
not a whole lot of traffic, but there's some traffic.
Yeah.
And we sit out on the porch with all the dogs and we watch traffic,
Watch the cars, yeah.
or watch the cars. And
Mhm.
they're scared to death of cars initially.
The
You know,
understandable, yeah, I
I'll,
mean
I'll have them. I'll have them out in the driveway
yeah.
and a car will come down the road. You watch them all, run back to the porch. Uh, of course, the neighbors. I wonder what they think of us. Now we may have 10 Great Danes on the porch and another 10 puppies running around too, and they've all watched this grow and happen over
Mhm.
time.
Mhm.
Oh, what a beautiful dog! Oh, you got another one. Oh, there's 3. Now there's 7. Now there's 10.
Right, exactly. They probably think you're the crazy guy next door. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
the FedEx trucks, the mailman,
Yeah.
all that stuff is real. Your Danes need to be exposed to those things so that
Yeah.
they function well with those things later.
Yeah, they're not scared of them for sure. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Because did you say like they're really not a very they're more of like a scaredy cat than they are really a bold dog, aren't they?
They have the tendency to be scared of things.
Yeah, even though they're
So
so big.
that's one of the things really important to teach them not to be scared of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah, because
I,
they're when they freak out, that can be really dangerous.
yeah, they break things or
Yeah.
run over people.
Yeah. No, that makes so
Uh,
much sense. Well, that's perfect. Okay, so just meeting as many people. So it's not really like a very scripted thing, but it's just like life exposure. That's been your
that
main
is
thing.
that is, and
Hmm.
that's true even with my older dogs.
Hmm.
I do my best to take them all on outings and continue that even now as a breeder.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
the other ones can go too.
Yeah. Perfect. That's so good. And you find your adult dogs are very good with your puppies, like the the not one that's not their mom.
Yeah, they've done pretty well
Hmm.
together. Now, mom doesn't like it so much.
Yeah.
So we give mom some grace for the first few weeks, and
Sure.
keep her completely locked up away from the others. But
Yeah.
the other adult dogs, they do well. They do very well, and it's such a huge difference between a 8-pound puppy and a 195-pound adult male.
Yes.
So,
Oh, yes, I know. I have one stud, my little red terrier said he likes to go to every litter box and stick his nose in and oh, those are mine. Those are mine. Those are mine.
yeah,
This is such a weirdo. It's the first stud I've had that was really interested in the puppies, so I think it's funny. But yeah. Okay, so you made the decision, to get into breeding. You had everything, of course, but then these are not small dogs. So how did you how did you figure out facilities? Like how did you get your wife on board? Like, how did you make this all happen?
Um, well, first off, I came across this chick on a podcast
Oh God.
called The Honest Dog Breeder. And as I traveled between appointments
Uh,
in my full-time sales job,
yeah.
I was always listening to all of your past podcasts. So,
Very nice.
it was a really sad day after about a week of doing this when
Yeah.
I came to the end and I had to
Oh.
wait. I had to wait for new podcasts. So you shared a lot of tips and tricks, and you showed a lot of your personal experience. And at that time, I hadn't really set up the kennel area.
Mhm.
So I had three under 1 year old Great Danes,
Yeah.
and they all stayed in the master bedroom with us.
Yes.
I remember the stories you talked about. Maybe moving them out of the master bedroom might be a good idea. Uh, so,
Yeah.
and you're trying to arrange space in a way that
Yeah.
you've got the bed and the nightstand and maybe a chair, and then you've got three Great Dane beds. And who gets to sleep on whose side? and,
Right.
and all of them want to be up in the big bed at the
Right.
same time too. And so it's kind of like, okay, we got to do something here.
Yeah, exactly.
And fortunately, unfortunately, I'm not sure. Fortunately, yeah, fortunately now, I had an unfinished basement that was going to be my man cave,
Yeah.
media center, all that good stuff. About 1,200 square foot of my space.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice, but now it's my kennel.
Right?
So that basically became the kennel, and I started
Mhm.
planning the facility, and
Yeah.
cutting doggy doors into the walls that go outside where the kennels are, and
Mhm.
fencing in the back. It's a
Yeah.
walkout basement,
Oh, man, I'm so jealous. So nice.
and so I've got that, and I've taken over the garage is on that level too. And rather than park my own car in the garage, my half of the garage is another set of kennels.
Right.
So no, I've got it in my basement, and I use the welded wire panels that are, pretty prevalent. You can run down to Tractor Supply and pick them up at any time.
Yep.
So whenever I need to expand or change things, I need another piece. It's easy. You just bolt them together.
Yeah.
I've got 6 5x5 kennel areas for the dogs that can be opened up into sections of 2 or 3 or 4.
So that makes sense.
So
you could make it like 5x10 or something like that.
Separate a dog, or I can put 3 or 4 of them in a space together. The ones that get along. I've got the puppy pen, which directly outside of that, I've got another one of the welded wire kennels with turf in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
So they learn immediately, when they start moving around and pottying. We've got a doggy door, and we try to have them somewhat on the way to being potty trained when they go to their homes at 8 weeks. At least they know how to use the doggy door.
Well, that's really cool too. Yeah.
Because they go straight out of that. And then I've got 2 larger pens in that garage bay. So I can manage the movement of all these dogs.
Yeah, you've got areas to move in and out, keep mom and her babies separate when needed and together when it's more appropriate. And it sounds pretty good. I'm just imagining you like taking all these puppies upstairs to your porch outside.
So I use bus tubs.
What
like
are
bus
those?
tubs, the big gray
like when you
tubs, like
clean,
at the restaurants when they pile up everything in. I got some deep bus tubs, and until they're about 4 weeks old, I can typically carry a litter covered up in the bus tubs, but then they start wanting to crawl
probably
out.
still 50 pounds, that.
Yeah, really. Yeah, just the litter of puppies, and then they start getting bigger. And when they're close, you start grabbing them 2 at a time, or 3 at a time, or 4 at a time. So, yeah, you're right. Going up and down the stairs.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good.
And it's like, okay, I've got 10 of them, but I can only move 3 at a time now.
Yeah, right.
So we've got all the little welded wire panels that we set up for little areas in the house to keep them from going where they shouldn't go, and that sort of thing. Great thing about that is they can go up and they can come down. So the house is not always a big kennel.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you've got flexibility.
And only certain dogs get to go in the master bedroom. That's kind of my wife's pick on that.
Probably smart anyway. Yes.
So that's kind of the main area now. We have another house on the property here too, and it's an older 3-bedroom ranch style house that I have now started converting into the main kennel.
Love the construction. Yes. Okay.
About 2,500 square foot, and I took the sunroom off the front and have turned that into the second stud's kennel. So now I do have my second stud now, and Titan's got his girls and they hang out over there, and Dobby has his girls and they hang out over here, and they get along better that way.
Oh, I think it's smart. Yeah. My studs don't ever really like each other.
No. So, we have these ideas that we can have these big groups of dogs, and they'll just be one big happy family. And then 2 males decide they don't like each other.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or when my girls get extra hormonal, sometimes they're not too happy either.
Yeah. That does happen too.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. All right. So then share with us too, because you went, you really built a business in the last few years. Like you kind of stood up everything. And so, so you got a website, we've got you set up on HoneyBook. What have you noticed in that process? Did you notice any changes or?
Yeah, sure. So, kind of to go back, I've been listening to this dog breeder chick for a couple years now. And getting lots of great information, and really a lot of the things I've done in my program are a result of what I heard and saw, and the little worksheets and the things you've got all over your website and your podcast stuff. Awesome. But here I was a little overwhelmed with the sheer time and management of that first
Oh,
litter.
it's
Because
it's a
it
lot,
was
isn't
me.
it?
It was
Yeah.
me. It's a lot. And,
Yes.
kind of trying to be there every spare moment,
Right.
planning my day. So I'm only gone for a couple hours at a time because I got to run home and check on the puppies.
Yeah. So
And,
much to do.
and I didn't sell any of them. I wasn't marketing. I didn't have a system put together, or,
Sure.
my Facebook page. I wasn't posting, or, my website wasn't built to convert.
Sure.
So there was no
Yeah.
traffic coming in. I figured, everybody wants these beautiful dogs, but nobody was calling me.
That's very normal.
And, my friends and family were like, "You're the crazy one, now
Yeah.
you got 12 of them." So I got to the point where the dogs are 8 weeks old, and I
Yeah.
have one of a litter of 11 sold.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be going home at 8 weeks. That's the story I've been seeing.
Right.
I thought, okay, I gotta figure something out.
Yeah.
This was late December, early January, about a year ago. Okay, and so I basically called you up and said, "Hey, I
Yeah.
need." I scheduled a. Did we schedule a one-off session? I think.
Yeah. We usually do like the free session just
Yeah,
to
the free
discuss where you're
session, and
at.
we started
Yeah.
talking about it and figuring
Mhm.
out what needed to be done, and
Yeah.
decided to get all in with building the website, putting
Yes.
together the convert kit for the email
Hmm.
marketing and
Yes.
newsletters, and then the honey book.
Hmm.
Wow, honey book kind of changed my life.
Was it
All
good?
of these things I was putting together to manage the money and the sales
Yeah.
process, and the contracts and
Yeah.
DocuSign and getting all that done digitally. Wow, what a huge help HoneyBook was immediately, and
Yes.
getting it set up.
Good.
You
Yeah.
having all of your experiences, saying this is how you run a dog business, and the
Yeah.
back end of it.
Awesome.
So that works
You
very well.
you picked it up so fast. It was so nice. You're like, oh, I've already sent out contracts, Julie, whatever. I was like, all right, great.
Well, part of that is that I've been in sales and marketing
Yeah.
in one way,
Yeah.
shape, or form, in different fashion for many years, and
Oh
so
yeah.
I I understand all of those processes and how they need to happen.
Yes.
The only problem is I was not a big company that had software systems and processes
Oh,
and
sure.
marketing.
Hmm.
So, putting it together in the package like that made it real easy for me,
It's
and
awesome.
and
That's awesome.
affordable too.
Nice. Yeah, I
Um,
think I think it was so cool because what happened is you already had all the sales knowledge and skill set, like just
yeah,
from life. And I
sure.
think that's just a huge difference. I think it's a really big struggle for a lot of new breeders, because we're like, we're 22 years old, like we haven't really like been in the world enough to know these things. And could you share some of the techniques that you use when you talk to people when you sell? Because you're very good at it, and I wanted to kind of share some of those.
Yeah, yeah, sure thing. So, I, like I said, I've sold all kinds of things. I've done all kinds of sales training. I've led sales
Yes.
organizations. Um, Probably the most impactful statement that I base the way that I deal with people and customers
Yeah.
with, a guy named Zig Ziglar, if you remember him.
Oh, yes.
He said, "You can have everything you want in life if you only help enough other people get what they want."
Ooh, that's good.
So there it is. If
Yeah.
someone calls me or inquires about a dog,
Hmm.
I'm trying to help them get what they want if I can provide that for them. So
Yeah.
it's really about asking them questions and
Mm.
listening to them. And then my dogs are my inventory.
Right.
Okay. So you have to match your inventory to your
Yeah.
customer,
Yeah.
and you find out what they like, visually they are, maybe a male, a female, what kind of temperament,
Yeah.
and there's some conversation that goes on.
Yeah. And
And
when you're saying you're asking them questions, you're not like meaning interrogating them. Like you're coming at it from a curiosity approach. Like, let me understand you better. Is that what you mean?
yeah, just to
Yeah.
understand better. Absolutely. You have to be careful about. Yeah, that's a good point
Yeah. How do
because
you walk that
I'm
line?
trying to understand you.
Yeah.
If I'm going to ask you, okay, well, so tell me about your house and
Hmm.
where is your dog going to be? What's your yard like?
Yeah.
Do you have children, or or is it an
Mhm.
older couple? Is it a younger couple? Is it a family?
Mhm.
And then helping them understand how this small puppy that's going to become a huge dog can help them have that family life that they want.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're learning about their situation maybe to see where they struggle, where they will could
Uh-huh.
struggle with a puppy, and then you're helping them sort of recognize that, and then here's the solution. And that's kind of
Sure.
and then so you just make it so easy.
It's easy. I
Yeah.
like to talk. I truly enjoy the engagement and
Hmm.
the interaction with people as well, too.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if you don't enjoy people, you probably shouldn't be selling things.
I that's a great statement because it's so
It,
true. I know like all those
yeah.
breeders who get into dog breeding to avoid people, like good, no, ain't gonna work.
No,
Yeah.
you're not going to be a great dog breeder. I
No,
mean, you might breed some great dogs, but
right.
you're going to be limited because you can only get rid of so many of them if you don't like people.
Yes, it's so true. It's so
Uh,
true. So what would you say, well, tell us that story. You had that one couple that reached out to you. You
oh,
have to tell us that
sure,
story. That was so great.
sure. So I think a lot of people when they experience me as a dog
Mhm.
breeder, it may be a little different from what they've been experiencing on
Mhm.
social media or the people they've
Sure.
reached out or talked to.
What do you notice
Um,
is what's normal? What are a lot of people experiencing maybe before they came to you?
um, I think a process that's real interested in getting a check from people.
Yeah, I can see
Because
that.
ultimately you don't have a sale until you get paid.
Right.
Okay, so as a
Yeah.
salesperson, you have to keep that in mind.
Hmm.
But it's almost like a fishing trip.
Yeah.
You don't just come in and say, yeah, and you can send me your deposit right away, and I'll get one of these reserved.
Right.
I think there are a lot of breeders out there, and then there's a lot of the scams out there
Hmm.
that are taking advantage of people
Yeah.
and getting deposits or getting a transport fee or
Hmm.
so people are geared into kind of getting that fee. Well, I had a couple that reached out to me last year, and off of a Facebook ad. I do
Hmm.
some of my advertising on Facebook. It's been
Yeah.
good. It gets people reaching out to me.
Yeah.
We can talk about that more in a
Yeah,
minute,
we'll
I
talk
guess.
about that
Too.
in a minute. Yeah.
So I had a couple about my age,
Hmm.
who was looking to get another Great Dane.
Hmm.
They have two Huskies and a Great Dane already.
Okay.
So they're wanting another Great Dane companion. A couple of the dogs are getting older.
Hmm.
And so they reached out to me, and they reached out. They saw a picture of one of my black and tan males, beautifully marked, beautiful dog, and they just loved it from the moment they saw it. But we started interacting and talking, and texting back and forth.
Yeah.
I set up a Zoom call with them to
Hmm.
meet the puppies. They loved that. And we were back and forth for hours, all set
Yeah.
on everything. And then they finally said, okay, we want to send you a deposit check.
Wow. Hmm.
And they said this, we've talked to several other breeders.
Hmm.
Nobody spent the time with us that you did and never asked for a check. So, I do ask for checks. But
Sure.
there's a time when you've established a little bit of a relationship,
Hmm.
a rapport back and
Yeah.
forth, and where people trust you. So
Yeah.
have we developed enough trust in our customers that they actually want to
Yeah.
that they want one of our dogs. They want
Hmm.
to be a part of what we're doing.
Yeah.
So
Do you find there's like a moment in the conversation that hits you where you're like, oh, now's the time to take that next step, like to make that transition and ask?
there is,
Mhm.
and it's almost a little bit of an art form. You have to ask for the deal.
Yeah.
There comes a point where you're going to ask for the deal.
Yeah.
And of course, the steps along the process, a lot of times you can go there by if they haven't filled out the puppy application yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's just all these steps of getting a lot of little yeses along the way.
Yeah, you're like building it up to the
Yeah,
final.
you're building up, and that's just a very effective sales technique no matter what you're doing.
Yeah.
Get people used to saying yes to you
Yeah.
before you ask them for the order.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah, I find that. I know with mine, I feel like we get to that place where like they're like, okay, what questions do you have? Okay, let's answer them. Okay, what else do you need to know? Okay, I'll answer that. Here's what I have. Okay, great. And then and they're like, great, it looks good. And you're like, and then you
It
wait
looks
for them to
good.
reach out.
Maybe you are, or one of the things that I find works there too, now that this is part of my process, is so I do the early selection wait list, and I kind of utilize that as the hook that makes it a little easier to ask for a deposit.
Okay, now tell
So
us
we
about the early selection. Are you talking about selling first pick or are you talking about picking earlier?
um so we have the litter,
Hmm.
or we don't have the litter yet.
Okay,
Okay, you can take the deposits on an upcoming litter
sure.
as well. But so with the early selection wait list,
Hmm.
I allow the potential buyer to select a dog in that 4 to 5 week old range.
Okay.
So they go on the selection list based on the sex of the dog they want. So I
Hmm.
run two lists. I run a male list and I run a female list.
Okay.
And in the orders that deposits are submitted to me.
Perfect.
So
Right. Yeah.
not just the puppy application doesn't get you on the list.
Right. Right.
Okay,
No,
but
the
the puppy
deposit does.
application
Yeah.
is the first step. Wonderful. Looks like this is great.
Yeah.
Now, now I'll tell you how the early selection wait list works. I currently
Mm.
have, and I'll tell them how many males or female
Mm.
buyers are in front of them that'll get to
Mhm.
select before them.
Got it.
And then I can kind of use that sometimes in talking with people. Okay, one of them says, "Well, I want a black and tan."
Hmm.
Well, I have two black and tans,
Hmm.
but I think the first pick is going to be taking one of those dogs. So there's
Yeah.
still one available. If you get on the list now,
Yeah, you'll
then
get one.
then you'll
Yeah.
probably get that one. Or somebody
Yeah.
says, "I want a Harlequin. I
Hmm.
want a male Harlequin. I want a Well, I was like, well, I've got one on the list ahead of you, but we have three male Harlequins.
Yeah.
And what I do is I build the list for the early selection
Hmm.
based on the order I receive deposits in. So that gets it in their own head.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put a deposit down to guarantee I get the dog I want. And a
Sure.
lot of times you still don't have to ask for it. You've just
Yeah, they
told
will get to
them,
that
you've
place.
just told them,
Yeah.
this is how I do this. This is how people get dogs from me.
Yeah.
This is how people get to pick the dog that they see on this Zoom call that
Yeah.
they want.
And so by kind of discussing your process and being transparent with your process, then they naturally come to the conclusion themselves
They
of,
do.
okay, and I need to make this step. But at the same time, you didn't come at them asking for money. And so it doesn't feel slimy. And I think that's a well articulated place because I know that that's how that works for me when I'm doing it, but I just never
Mhm.
really broke it down into words. So I
Huh.
love that. But what
Yeah,
we'd also say is you have to know your process ahead of time. I think a lot of people don't know their breeders don't know their process in the beginning.
you're right. You're right. So then it does become awkward and weird when you're saying, so why don't you send me a check?
Right, exactly. It's like, okay.
All we
Yeah,
got to do now is
exactly.
get some money from you. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
exactly.
you don't really have to do it that way.
Mhm.
Now your setup, the way you set up my website and help
Mhm.
me put the process
Yeah.
in place on that, that's a really good way to communicate with people back and forth too. So
Oh, yeah.
especially when they're reaching out to me, like on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
or those things, I can
Mm-hmm.
send them links
Yeah.
to their answers on my website.
Oh, yeah. Or even like those
So
automated questions on Facebook, you can have
that's
them
right.
send
You
there.
can set up the
Yeah.
automated questions so that while I'm waiting to get, or I pick a response to their questions.
Yeah.
So the frequently asked questions, I've got them all set up as, automated responses that I can either
Nice.
pick or will automatically go out when they ask the question. So if
Yeah.
I'm, unable to be right there, and then you gotta be careful with that though, because sometimes AI doesn't get it quite right.
There's that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know I have some weird ones. You had some pretty good success with how you use Facebook because that is the pain, right? You get a new website and there isn't yet traffic to it. Google doesn't recognize it very well. And so as you're building that rapport with Google, you used Facebook in lieu of that and you had some pretty good success. Can you tell us a little bit of what you did to make it so useful?
Sure. So the first thing you don't do is ever say that you are selling a dog on Facebook. That
Right.
will get you put in Facebook jail and shut down immediately.
Right.
Okay. So you have to be so careful with the
Yeah.
way you word it or the way you put yourself out there. Okay. I, I'll make it a litter announcement.
Hmm.
Here's the litter announcement. For more information on how to adopt one of our puppies, you got to use that word on Facebook or they get you. So you're adopting, yeah, you're going to pay good money, but people pay good money for kids when they adopt them too. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Adopting doesn't mean I'm giving you something for free.
Right.
Anyways, that's how I
Yeah.
justify
Okay.
that.
That
Uh,
makes sense.
yeah. Message me if you'd like to know more about how to adopt one of our puppies.
Hmm.
So I set up the Facebook ad to typically direct message me.
Okay.
And then that way I get the message pop up on instant messenger. I
Hmm.
use the Meta Business Suite.
Hmm.
So they've got an application that enables you to manage all of your posting and your
Yeah.
advertising and your responses.
Hmm.
And it'll post it across from Facebook and Instagram, and you can kind of just keep it all going from there. But
Awesome.
so I started with a $50 ad.
Hmm.
uh, Picture of some puppies, picture of mom and daddy. So it was a multi-picture post that was
Hmm.
making the litter announcement,
Yeah.
and I floated this thing out there, put $50 on it, and my phone started blowing up.
That's good.
That was really good. I was shocked. I was amazed. I mean, and
Yeah.
for a few days there, I was just answering all these questions and re-answering all the same questions, and I didn't have all the responses set up in that. But off of that first $50 ad, I think I got 2 or 3 deposits.
Wow. That's really good.
And what? Really good. I have really good ratio numbers to
You
my
do.
spend.
Hmm.
In 2 litters, I have spent less than $700 to sell 20 dogs.
It's really
So
good.
yeah,
Hmm.
so I've
Yeah.
been real pleased with that.
Hmm.
I think a lot of that, though, a lot of the being effective on that, I'm getting them to message me,
Hmm.
and then I start that process of talking,
Yeah.
standing. It's a process.
Yeah.
You got to spend some time with people. You got to try and with Facebook now. I've got to get them out of Facebook and onto my website,
Right.
or I've got to get them out of Facebook and onto my email list.
Yes.
I've got to get them out of Facebook, and I need your phone number.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you can't just turn me off.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's that whole process going on, and it's a lot of it's establishing trust,
Hmm.
and just being real
Hmm.
and being authentic,
Yeah.
and you know having good dogs and being proud of what you do.
Yeah. I mean, you always started there. You always had the product, right? So it was
Yeah.
easy to sell a product you love and
Yeah.
adore. Do you think too, we kind of talked about it a little yesterday, um, that practice talking with people? Because, like, to me, having that many people contact me would be very exhausting right now. But in the beginning, when you're first getting used to it, do you think that that's a really valuable time spent?
It is, because you learn.
Yeah.
You learn the effective go ahead responses for people, because
Mm-hmm.
you can answer a question one way and people say, I don't want to deal with you.
Right.
Or you
Yeah.
can answer the question another way and it leads you to the next step down that sales process.
Did you find yourself experimenting with a couple things here and there as you were going?
Yeah. I think that's good for people to understand that when you have a good sales response to
Yeah.
a question that a customer has, and that's probably a question that a dozen other customers are going to have,
Yeah.
you learn that response.
Mm-hmm.
It works. It answers the question. You can script it. You can write it down. You can memorize it. And I used
Yeah.
to do that sort of thing with my, in sales. I used to
Mm-hmm.
write my scripts down when I was learning how to sell and
That makes
relate to
sense.
people.
Yeah.
Some people might need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the breeders that have never sold anything or never been through that sales process,
Mm-hmm.
um, go get you a sales training book.
Yeah. No, it really does help too, because I think a lot of times we get caught up as breeders where we think this dog is so great, and when we don't have our ideal puppy buyer dialed in very well, we don't really know how to read if those customers are right for us or
Yeah, that's
not. Like
right.
there's just
That's
so
right.
much place, and so you're trying to protect your dogs, and then you get frustrated with people because people are people. And there's always there's like a lot of clunky things in the middle, and it takes a while to iron that out.
Yeah. Um, I just thought of one of the things that
Sure.
happens that's a real drain.
Yeah.
Of course, you've got all these people reaching out to you and asking things, and then
Mhm.
you zone into a few of them, and you're having these dialogues and these responses, and
Yeah.
you've spent an hour with someone, and you finally get to the question of how much is the dog,
Yeah.
and they immediately cut you off and say that's too much.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that's discouraging.
It is.
Okay. So I think one of the real important things is to figure out how to qualify people financially, and
Yeah.
and and to get the word to them how much the dog is
Pretty early on.
early in the conversation.
Yeah.
That's something you learn. Another thing, I've got that on my website.
Hmm.
So the page on how to get a puppy.
Hmm.
And, a lot of the questions that people ask, I can send them to that page. On
Yeah.
that page, they're going to see how much the dogs are and how much the deposits are without me ever
Okay.
saying anything about that.
So you use it almost like the link is like here's a quick answer, but if you want to read all the details, here it is. And then they
Yes,
can read all of it and get the full
that's right.
thing. And it saves you time, but also, like you said, it subtly pitches price.
Mhm.
And I think it's
Yeah, it
hard for
does.
people to say no sometimes too, like when they want it, but they can't afford it.
Yeah,
And so it kind of allows them to save face if they need to step away.
yeah, yeah. They're having that conversation with themselves, reading
Yeah.
my website or
Hmm.
reading that page. And they'll ask, okay, how do I get a pup?
Yeah.
Okay. And I can say, we have a process, and I've outlined it at the following link. You
Hmm.
can see my process, my pricing, and what we provide for our puppy buyers.
Yeah.
And so I've got all that laid out, and it'll answer a lot of questions. Now, I don't just leave it there and wait
Hmm.
for them to get back with me, though.
Mm.
Okay, because sometimes they need a little something. So I'll send
Yeah.
that, and then shortly after I send them the link, I ask them what kind of puppy they are looking for.
Ooh.
Would
Hmm.
you would you like, are you interested in a male or a female? Are there certain colors and patterns that you prefer?
Yeah.
So we're not closing for the deal or the deposit,
Hmm.
but I was able to send them to the site to look at all that.
Yeah. So
Now
you.
let's talk about the puppy you want.
Hmm.
So that's where I turn the corner back out of that and get back
Hmm.
into the conversation with people too.
Yeah. Which is back focused on them and what they need.
Right,
Right.
right.
I love that.
What,
Yeah. I
what they
like it.
want, what they want.
Yeah. I like to get that
What
opened and
people want is more important than what people need.
Right. Yes. At least when you're starting the conversation. Yeah. I've had so many times where like you know, what do you sell that? They sell them what they want, give them what they need, right? Isn't that the yeah. And so you get to this place where you've given them, they're like, okay, cool, you're the right breeder, you have what I'm looking for, whatever. And then when the puppies are born and when you're sorting, you can say, hey, so I was thinking with you, you might want, and open that door to them when it's more aligned. Yeah.
Gives you that opportunity. And if you've established a dialogue and a level of trust, then
yes, exactly. And it's not about changing what they want. It's just that you always knew that they needed something slightly different than what they understood. It's like people who want to go on a diet think they need recipes, but they don't really need recipes. They need new habits. Yeah.
That's good.
That's true.
So I make it real easy for them to get a deposit to me. Other things, I don't tell people you must send me a friends and family PayPal.
Yeah.
Which my experience with breeders when I was looking for dogs initially, that was the only thing they had out there. PayPal, and please market friends and family. That's how I bought my first couple dogs, was on PayPal. But with all of everything we've got, okay, one, you can take credit cards through Honeybook. I've got credit card processing through my other business as well. So I can take credit cards and pay the fee and go that whole route. But I've got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Zelle. Yeah. What else is there? It seems like I got something else
that's
too.
Pretty much everything. Yeah. But
and I've got all of those things set up so that whichever one of those things somebody is comfortable with, I want it to be easy for them to get the deposit sent when they've chosen to do it. Yeah. If you only have one way for them to send you the deposit and they are not set up on that platform, they might put you aside until it's more convenient.
Very
which
true.
may be never.
Right. It's very true.
If they have to open a PayPal account to send you a deposit,
right,
that might not happen.
It doesn't often. Yeah, I know a lot of people, or like the credit unions don't always have Zelle, so it's like you're just accepting that. I love it that we can have the backup. I find my rat terrier customers are a little older demographic. They're usually retired, they're 60s and 70s, and for them, some of them have Zelle, but for the most part, they maybe have heard of Venmo. They understand I probably don't want to take a check, but it's a little bit of work, And so for them, sometimes the credit card, it's something they're familiar with. They buy online. Easy. Okay. And so that's fine. So we just build that into pricing to make it convenient. And they trust it.
Yeah. So make it easy for people to get money to you.
Yes, right. Make it simple. I know sometimes I joke, I think some people buy a dog from me just because it's easier.
I think there is that. If we make it easy and engaging, and we're going to help people own one of these puppies, right? You respond to them, you answer their questions, you spend some time with them, and keep that process moving.
I love that. I like how you've talked about the continuation piece, right? Like, keep the conversation open, and get them to not get the yes and no answers, right? It's open-ended. So
true.
Yeah.
True. Important. Your questions are always very important. And it should be leading you down the path toward them expressing to you what they want and need, or for them finding out that I have what you want and need.
Yeah, and I would even go as far as to say to help them conclude if they're not a good fit for one of your dogs, because that's just as valuable.
It is very valuable. We talk about. I guess I talk about the 20 successful converts, but there's 200. There's hundreds of others that I've talked to or texted or
Oh yeah.
So don't get discouraged. Okay. I never see no as a negative when I'm in the sales process, because I have to have a certain number of no's to get the yes. Okay. And I might have to have 25 no's in my breeding business to get the one yes. But I'm going to get that yes. All I got to do is people want what I have. I know they do.
Right. It's true. You have to be in that headspace that they do want it. It's more about just finding the right people. And I love that.
Yeah. And I really appreciate what you've done with the ideal dog buyer.
Oh, thanks.
Really honing in on that. Who is the person that wants my dogs? What do they look? That's really important. So, so I'm not wasting a bunch of time with a 19-year-old college guy that thinks a Great Dane would be cool to have in his dorm.
Right. Yeah. Does it make it easier for you to identify, oh, they're a good fit, oh, they're not? Is that kind of where you're using it?
Yeah. It does.
It makes it easier.
So I can kind of sort through things on my end.
Yeah.
Where am I going to spend my time trying to talk to people and develop relationships?
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Well, Bill, thanks so much. So before we leave, can you share with us if you have advice for new breeders? What would you tell them?
So a new breeder, there's going to be a lot of poop.
Yeah. So much.
And I guess that comes down to the most of it is just good, rewarding work too. You have to be ready to do all the things that you need to do.
Yeah.
This lovely sitting here with 10 puppies in my lap vision of being a breeder, and people just coming to me because they find me in the ether somewhere and they know I have these beautiful Great Danes.
Yeah.
It's really not like that.
Yeah.
But it is a very, very rewarding enterprise, should we say. And the whole process, get ready for the process and be committed to it, because there's times when things are hard. There's times when things don't go right.
Yeah.
There's times when the money doesn't come in. You just keep doing the things that you do and being consistent.
Yeah. Oh, that's such good advice. It takes grit. It's like you said, you're going to have those bad days. It's not always pretty. Just, yeah.
Yeah. I've never stepped in so much poop in my life.
With Great Danes. I can only imagine.
Even the puppy piles are as big as your fist.
Yes, I can only imagine.
So yeah, there's a whole lot of that.
Yes, it like never ends. I know. Well, all right. Well, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Where can people find you if they want to see your dogs? Check out your Facebook. What do you got?
So DubDub Danes. So DubDub is WW, my initials, William Wyatt.
Yep.
So dubdanes.com is my website. I'm on Instagram and Facebook under DubDub Danes as well. So, and I'm Bill Wyatt. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram as well. So
great.
Would love to hear from any of them.
Yes, thanks so much, Bill. It's great. I know. I love it. They're you guys just have to go check out Dobby. He's just he's so beautiful.
Dobby's an amazing dog. Yes, he is.
Thank you so much.
So Dobby, I knew Dobby was going to be a very big dog.
Yeah.
And I named him Dobby because he's a house elf.
I love that. I know. We listened to all those books, and it was perfect. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you next time.
All right. Thank you, Julie.
If you found this episode helpful, please tap that like button. It helps me better understand you and supports the channel. If you're a current or aspiring dog breeder, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel to be notified when new videos come out. Thanks.